Well, here we are. It's been almost exactly a year since we messed with this car, and we're at it again. We've got some specialty tools here. This is not paid placement or anything, but we found a very cheap place for some specialty tools online. I guess we'll see if they work. But we are going to try to take off this balancer. Where's it at?
Right there.
Down yonder. But I put on almost exactly a year ago, but I put it on and started trying to guide on crooked and I gave up. So I guess we will we'll see how it goes today. We're gonna try it. Weather's nice, and this kid's birthday is coming up in about a week.
20th.
He's gonna be 12 years old. Anyway, let's see if we can get this thing off and then maybe
Put it back on it.
back on. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, well, we ordered a puller for that balancer and an installer, both from Eastwood. Again, not sponsored video. We just saw it was a place where you could get tools at even sub-Harbor Freight prices. So we'll see what the quality's like. Honestly, if we can get this one job done with them, I'll be pleased, to be honest. Price point on this stuff is pretty cheap. So, see what we got. Paper.
Ooh, paper.
Yeah.
Never know when you might need that.
Actually, I do reuse that for packing other stuff. Okay, this is the installer. This is the puller. Now, I say Hobo Freight does sell a kit that has all this stuff together for about 80 bucks, and these two together were about half that price. So, again,
$40?
well, see, it was about 40 bucks plus shipping. It was cheap. I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't cheap. So, this is the kind of tools normally you borrow from somebody. We did borrow a puller before when I took the old balancer off, but I did not have an installer, and that kind of helped bite me in the ass, I think. Okay, so this is the puller. This is just your standard biz here. I think I actually had to go to the hardware store and get some bolts that were skinnier on the old one to pull it off, just because the specific unit that we're pulling off there had real skinny bolt holes in it. But it's just missing from a spot. There it is. Okay, that came loose.
I don't want to lose the bolts.
Here it is. It's just your generic,
Standard.
biz. Like I say, last time I had to get some specialty bolts to fit our particular balancer. We'll see. I mean, we got a Ace Hardware around the corner if we need to. And now here's the installer. And this is what last time I made a couple of mistakes. One, I tried to use the factory bolt that holds the balancer on to thread the new one on. And you shouldn't do that because you can goof up the threads inside the crankshaft. We don't want that to happen, obviously. Number two, I'd never done this job before, and no one had ever told me, and all the stuff I'd read about it, no one had mentioned heating it up first. Like some people use a torch just to heat the center of the thing up before you slide, because this is all friction fit. You got to put it over the little key and slide it on there, and then it's just tight, and then bolt it down. Well, if you heat it up, obviously metal expands, and so a bunch of people are like, oh, you can just bake it in the oven. Other people are like, oh, just hit it with a torch. So anyway, we're going to try that this time, and we're going to use this installer tool. And I've not used one of these before, but again, I've seen it on the YouTube and whatnot, so I think I get the idea. Now with this, instead of using the bolt to just push the thing on, you thread this into the end of the crankshaft. So these threads are already anchored, and you're not pulling on those threads, right?
So that way you can anchor it on and then screw it so it'll always go on, right?
You turn this on, you turn this to crank it down onto this, and then you pull this out and put the bolt in.
So that way you're not accidentally putting it on crooked and messing up the
exactly, and we're not putting all that stress on those threads inside the crankshaft. So hopefully Dad hasn't messed that up. We'll see. We'll see when we get it off of there. The other thing is we may have to get another of the little woodruff key, which is a little half moon shaped little circle of metal that goes in the top of that crankshaft in a little slot to guide the thing on. Oh no. Go get the dog. I'm so sorry. Our dog is in love with like all the neighborhood dogs that walk by. And we just fenced in our yard, but there's a couple of spots where apparently she can still
slip out of there.
She can hop out when she wants to go say hi to passing pup. So anyway, this is our installer kit, and we hope it works.
Yep.
So
let's get going.
we're gonna get in there and try to take that thing off again and start over.
Start over.
All right, we're down here.
Greasy. I don't mind it.
We're just taking off the bolt. Got it? There you go.
That's probably
Say once you get it loose, you can finger it out, but there you go. And I think there's probably a big washer behind that too, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Okay, let me have that.
Huge washer.
Well, here's hoping I didn't chew stuff up too bad.
Doesn't look too good up.
All right, now we're gonna see if we can get that puller on there and see what we can do.
Yep.
Now this unit down here had this additional belt ring here, which is I think for the air conditioner compressor, was added on to it. We had to take it off so we can get to these little bolt holes here to get the puller on. So we're gonna do that next. All right, we got this puller on here. We're gonna see if we can get this thing to come off after I worked so hard to put it on. Poorly.
Looks like it's moving. Yep, it's moving.
Yeah, it's moving.
A little bit at a time, but still moving.
Well, this rod I'm threading here, it's got really fine pitched threads. There we go.
Oh,
You know, this
yeah, there it goes.
thing was barely on at all.
Huh.
Well,
That makes sense.
That might be good. So we got it off. Doesn't look like we scraped anything up. That's what I was worried about. So I think we're good.
Is it? Yeah.
There's the timing thing.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's the
It's
timing.
not, it's not grinded.
Yeah, the
out
old
at
one
all.
was ruined, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And look, our woodruff key is rocking in there. You see that? How it's sticking up in the back?
Yeah.
Here, hold on a second. Where's my phone? Okay, well we got this booger off of here. It looks fine. It was barely on there. Nash sat in the car pressing alternately the clutch and the brake to hold the engine in place while I was tightening the thing on, and you could see that this woodruff key, look at it, it rocked in place.
Yeah.
And
So it's good or bad?
well, I'm gonna have to dig it out of there, and it's probably okay. But that thing is supposed to be flat in there and act like a little guide. And as we can see here, it has come loose. So we're gonna have to dig that booger out of there and make sure that the keyway, the little slot it goes in, is not chewed up, and make sure the key itself is not chewed up. And if it is, we can order another one. They're not expensive. It's just a little piece of metal, but it has to be this specific piece of metal.
Yep.
So, all right. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna try to fish that key out of there without chewing up this, well, poop.
It might be too far back.
Yeah, well, I don't want to mess up this oil seal we just put in. I might have to
Or we might be able to push it back into place.
move this a little bit. There you go.
What if we tried to push it back into place?
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. I just
Because
don't.
it's sticking out to the back. If we could push it down in the back enough.
Yeah, then it'd
Thing
be
is, you could
easier to
try
pop out. Okay, bring me a flat screwdriver. Do you see one in there? There might be one over here on this.
Oh, I'll check.
Would you? Is that flat? There we go.
I hope it's big enough.
I call
or
them
small
pluses
enough.
and minuses.
Yeah. Oh, look, it did rock in there. Look, oh, it's just coming right out.
Holy crap.
Okay.
Oh, well that's
Good luck.
that's
good.
very useful.
That's good.
We got good luck this time.
Yeah,
If you can just get it out of there.
even the losers get lucky sometimes.
There we go. We got
Okay.
it.
Good.
Success.
Yeah, it's not chewed up.
So good.
That is good. You know what what I've been thinking is next time we put this thing back in, I might try some Loctite.
It's a good idea.
It's kind of like a glue that works to hold metal together, and you can break it loose later, but it helps hold stuff in place.
So now we just got to put it back in the right way.
Yeah, well, and we're going to have to bake that the
harmonic
balancer.
balancer.
I'm gonna bake the balancer.
Making the balancer.
Okay.
Turn that into a song.
Making the balancer.
Well, I have to say our super cheap puller kit worked fine once I reused the special hardware that I got last time, just because the puller holes on these Datsun balancers. Let me see that. Now notice these holes are like real small.
Yep.
And the balancer puller kit came with a bunch of different sized bolts for that, but not any small enough. Miraculously, I still have the hardware. So this is off. Now we're going to see about putting it back on.
Yep. I gotta warm it up and bake it.
Yep.
Not edible. Do not try
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't try to eat this. Mosey, you want to try to take a bite? Well, all right. We've got the oven preheated, 250 degrees.
Yeah.
Mosey, you want to open it up? Toss this thing in here. All right, shut her up. We're gonna give her about 20 minutes. All right, well, what we got here is a baked balancer in a box.
The triple B.
I did it at 250 degrees for about 20 minutes. And I've already got the installer thing here. I've got the key in place. Put this hot potato.
Except it's a balancer, not a potato.
Well, yeah, of course, it's not an actual potato.
Do not eat.
Do not eat.
Not edible.
This is the hard part of this.
Trying to line it up.
Trying to line it up the keyway. That's it. Okay, now. That's a little bearing.
I looked at that earlier. That little ball's inside of it.
Hold on a second though. Wait a minute. I'm gonna need that washer.
This big
Yeah,
one?
because this thing goes into the center of that. Does this go around that? No, that goes in it. Crap. This is there's nothing for this to press against right here. Well, poop. Well, it looks like we may have this installed properly. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolt back in, and either way, I think this is gonna be about it for the day. Well, it looks like, fingers crossed, after a year, literally, fretting about it and putting it off and, you know, putting it to the back of our minds,
Procrastination.
I think we may have the balancer installed correctly. It slid on there after being heated up. We had to, just like we had to get some extra hardware to adapt the puller for our particular balancer, we had to get a piece of hardware to push it back on too. But it looks like it went. And so we'll see, I guess, in the long run. So that means next, if that's on and done, then the next things we have to worry about working on, well, we got to put
Everything back on.
Yeah, we got the water pump on, but the fan clutch and fan are not on. New
Not
radiator.
Radiator.
New radiator. And here's another
Belt.
thing. right here. Where's it at?
That?
This neck where the thermostat lives, one of the bolts that holds that little cover on, the bolt had sheared off of it entirely, and it's all old corroded aluminum. So I've been like spraying it with penetrating oil like off and on for a year, but I don't know, we may actually just have to get that whole little part actually bolts to the block too. So if we can't get that thing out of there with an extractor or something, we may end up just replacing that whole little thermostat housing. We'll see. We might be able to get it out. I do have some extractor tools that I got when we had the Rabbit briefly. We had an old blue Volkswagen. Actually, it was a Golf, but we called it the Blue Bunny. And I had to do a lot of heavy duty extraction of some corroded stuff off of that car. So we do have some extractors, so that might work. We'll see. Anyhow, I feel like we made some progress today for the first time in a long time.
In a whole year.
How do you feel about it, Moses?
Good.
How about you?
Comment us for like information to help.
Advice?
Yeah, advice.
Yeah, as Moses says there. Yeah, if you have comments that like give us ideas for how to do things easier, or if you know where to source some parts, or a good place to find information, or
have, like any basic mechanic tips or anything on this.
Yeah, if you have anything to contribute, we'd love to hear about it. So you know, like they always say on the U-Scroob, on the U-Scroob, you know what they say, on the Yub Tub, you got to Yub Nub. Now we're getting into the Ewoks. Like and subscribe to videos. You know, just we're gonna try to do more of these in the days to come. Let's say we laid it down for a while, but we're back into it, and we hope to make some progress. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you very much.
Yep.
And Moses, hit the song.
Ox Studio.
Dun 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 dun.
Ox Studio. Stop filming.